What's up, everybody? It's your boy Al. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, the 16th. Want to do this video. Usually, I try to stay away from this kind of stuff, this kind of messy, domestic stuff. But this, DABABY, Dani Leigh stuff, and I talked about DABABY before, how people trying to cancel for certain things and what really needs to be canceled. But there's some things, anytime I can try to find some things to help young people with as far as relationships is concerned, I want to try to touch on that. And there's some takeaways from this for men and for women in this situation. If you don't know, Dani Leigh and DABABY, who had a baby together, got into a domestic dispute. The police were called on her. He was airing her out on, I don't know, it was a Facebook Live or Instagram Live, talking about her real bad and talking about she was this, she was that. She was firing back. Apparently, she put hands on him. Police were called. Charges were filed on her. She has 2 pending charges against her because he called the police on her. And the situation's ugly. But there are some takeaways. I see a bunch of people making videos bad for clowning him. See a bunch of people making videos clowning her. A lot of dudes just really don't see no wrong in nothing he did. And I'm like, as a married man with a wife and a child, I see a lot of dudes out here who don't have that kind of responsibility, making irresponsible videos. Dudes who aren't married, who don't have responsibility of taking care of a child with a wife, with a family, making these irresponsible videos about what he did and what should have been done to her and all of this kind of talk. But let me speak from a married man, a man who's married, a man who has a child, and who's not just taking responsibility, but is living the life of a man who's trying to lead his family, his wife, and his child. There's some takeaways from this for men and women. I want to get into the takeaways for women first. The takeaways for women. The first takeaway is women, and I've said this before, you have to watch who you decide to procreate with. You have to watch who you decide to procreate with, and you have to know that the history of them is who they are as a person. You have to know that if they're a person that's shown questionable character, don't be surprised if that questionable character shows up in their relationship. What do you mean by that? What I mean is this, that there's been people who trying to say that, he was right for putting her out, he's right for calling the police. I don't necessarily agree with that. Number one, he had this girl out there, or not necessarily had her out there, but it didn't look good from the beginning. When she announced her pregnancy, she had to hide it from the world. When she announced her pregnancy, she had to do it surrounded by every member of her family, except the man who was going to be the father of children. The pictures hit her Instagram of her with a row of her, a sea of her family needing support because the support wasn't coming initially from the man who knocked her up. I don't know about you, but I think that's a huge red flag when a man knocks up a woman and can't even own what he did right off the jump. There's no way she should have had to take pictures with her mama and her auntie and her cousins and her uncles and all of these people. Even if you didn't wife her up, even if you didn't gal her up, as you said, there's no way that she should have been in this situation initially from the jump. With the situation being painted that way. But here's the deal. He's shown who he is from the get-go. Now, he takes care of his kids. That's cool. Understand he has another baby mother. He takes care of the kid. That's fine. But understand that, fellas, that's the bare minimum. You don't get a cookie for doing what it's supposed to be inherent for you to do from the start. That doesn't mean you're not a good person, that you're a good person, or that you're a good person to procreate with because you take care of your kids. Number one, the government's going to make sure that you do that. Number two, even animals know that, to take care of their young, right? I mean, there's a video of a female lion, the baby's being smacked around by dad, and the female jumps up and gets all in his stuff, and he doesn't say a word. His shoulders go up. He's like, "Oh crap, let me get out of here," because even animals know I shouldn't have done it. That's mama's baby, so let me step out of that. So it's even in animals to know what to do for their young. So you don't get no points for that, taking care of your kids. But number two, also, again, he's shown us who he is. When he beat up an old man whose house he rented for video, gives getting a contract to not do certain things. He did certain things. The man confronted him on him. He beat an old man up. Not going to get to the shooting thing that Dave Chappelle did because that was self-defense. I understand that. But it wasn't self-defense when a young girl was taking a picture of you behind a rope where the fan's supposed to be, and the flash just happened to be too bright for you, so you smacked this little girl and didn't pay no repercussions for that. Didn't have nothing to, didn't pay a penalty for that. But that kind of stuff right there is a red flag. Beating up people, smacking little girls, beating up old men, and just walking away scot-free. That kind of stuff to me is a red flag. And women, one of the things you have to do, not only do you have to be careful of who you procreate with, but you have to also understand, no matter how beautiful you are, no matter how gorgeous you think you are, no matter how bad you think you are, you cannot change that behavior. That person is that person. You cannot come along and all of a sudden that behavior changes. This dude was airing this girl out, calling her all kind of this and that, and saying you was the side chick and all of that. First of all, we're not gonna get into that right now. But yeah, when you decide to procreate with a guy who's already shown you his character is questionable enough for him to smack a child, then you have to know that you're taking a chance with that. Another thing you need to learn, ladies can take from this. In 2021 and beyond, you can't just fight dudes no more. You can't just because now there's been enough proof and evidence from the entertainment world, everyday life, and sports figures alike that women do put their hands on men, and when the police come to the scene now, they can now prove that women started that. There have been a lot of women arrested for domestic dispute. These dudes with money are wising up. They ain't putting their hands on chicks no more than they're putting their hands on women anymore. It's a football player. His wife was arrested. Another woman was a athlete's girlfriend. She was arrested. So these guys are wising up. You can't just put your hands on them anymore. I understand that it was a thing to try and put your hands on a guy, to try and provoke him to do something so you can call the police on him. But guess what? These guys are wising up, ladies. So you can't just run to that old card of, let me smack this dude, he'll hit me back, and then it's on. I got him where I want him. Because what happened was, I think the opposite happened. I think he triggered her. She hit him, and then he called the police. That's what I think happened. But also, what women can take from this is be careful how you insult the previous woman. Be careful how you insult the previous girlfriend, wife, or baby mother. Because that could come back to bite you in the butt. I know Dani Leigh made this song talking about a yellow bones, what he wants. And people thought that she was throwing shots at the baby's other baby mother, ex-girl, who he was with before Dani Leigh came along, and he left her to be with Dani Leigh. Be careful how you throw shots, because you could end up in that same situation that the girl before you was in. Or it can come back to bite you terribly in the butt. And then this is a caveat to that. Also, ladies, be careful how you get him, because the same way you get him can sometimes be the way you lose him. Or even if not, that's a red flag. If he's with a girl who has his young child and he leaves her for you, that is a huge red flag. A lot of women wear it with badge on it. I was able to get him to leave his baby mama. That's a red flag. That is a huge red flag. First of all, you understand, ladies, that if you get that dude, you are not looking at a husband. Okay, so when you get tired of the games, he leaves her for you, and you with him, and you want to know how long, we've been together this long. I just want to know, when you gonna make me the one. Hey, you have to understand that wasn't a husband from the jump, because a husband would never do that. Husband would never leave. Husband material would never leave his baby mother with a young son for a young child for another girl. That wouldn't happen. And then be bouncing, and then bounce back and forth. No, that's not husband material. So ladies need to learn these things, these lessons from this situation. Control your temper, ladies, please, because it's a different game out here. Now, what men can learn from this is Men can learn, number one, men can learn that we don't hold each other accountable for nothing. I see nothing but videos bashing and yaying the baby, cheering him on. Good, you got her out of your house. Dudes are crap. Young dudes especially are crap. I'm gonna tell you why. I have a wife who has a young son. We have a young son together, and we were talking a little bit about this, and I'm already aware of when you are a woman who has had a child, you are in a very fragile state. And at that point in time, you need the kind of love and support from your husband or man to keep you stable as possible. This postpartum thing is real. This woman named Andrea Yates some years ago who drowned all of her children, all of her sons. Like 5 sons, she drowned them all. I've heard testimonies from women who have said that they thought about, those postpartum days, the first few months after they give birth, thought about doing themselves harm or doing harm to the baby when the baby wouldn't stop crying. All kinds of, and that's real. And as a dude, this is how I know some of these dudes making some of these videos and not husbands and won't be husbands. Because as a man, you can't write that kind of stuff off. As a man with a wife and a child, you can't write that kind of stuff off. Well, she should just be able to control. No, you have to be the kind of man to not put her in a, and I guarantee you, my wife said this too. That girl didn't just fall off the handle or nothing. That dude, like the way he was airing her out on live, that had been going on. He had been doing it. That had been going on. But all I see are guys cheering him on. And ladies, I just want you to know that's what you got to look forward to in the dating pool. Guys that will cheer on a man who doesn't stick by a girl when she's pregnant, doesn't acknowledge her until it's obvious, puts in a state where he's blasting her. Now she's giving birth to his child, and she's in a fragile state after giving birth, which all women are. All women are after giving birth. And you blast her and call her all kind of things on social media, and dudes are cheering him on. I want you to see what's out there. That's what's out there for you, ladies. Dudes are making videos congratulating the baby for what he did. A real man knows to give a woman that time to heal. She needs to heal. And all these dudes out here talking about she was wilding out. Bro, you've never had a wife or a woman who give birth and spent time around her. You have a lot of guys who knock girls up, have the baby and bounce and be all over the place and never really stick around to see what that woman is going through. But as a husband, I have a different perspective on that. You can't leave a woman in that state and just call and just call it. Okay, she was staying at this place. Cool. Again, I'm gonna say this: you don't get no points for that, because if you had a baby with this girl, you're responsible for it. And he was saying, "I'm taking care of my child." Okay, again, no points for that. But bro, you as me as a husband, you're responsible for taking care of that child. And if she's staying with you, you're responsible to take care of her too, the baby mother. But I see people talking about her, but I don't see nobody talking about him. Now, people were talking about him when he got up on stage and said what he said about the gay and trans community. But it's okay for him to put a young lady out, even if she's wilding out, bro. Again, knowing women in that state after they've given birth, she not just wilding out. She not just flipping out. He didn't just come home and she just attacked him like the Tasmanian devil. It got heated. He said something will make her wild out. He called the police. But no man who's a husband who knows to treat a woman fragile, to treat a fragile woman with kid gloves in this state is going to air this dude out. Nobody. And I understand that a lot of it is backlash from the community who thought that, she was a light skin who was clowning on the dark skinned girl. So there's a lot of people like, aha, good for her. But bro, you trash for that. You trash for airing that girl out. And I'm going to say it if nobody else will. You trash for airing that girl out. when women tell us to step up and be a man, sometimes that's what they mean. Step up and not do stuff like that. If she puts her hands on you, okay, call the police, seal it up. But what did you do? What did your little smart alecky behind do to set that whole thing off? Women are reactive. Women are reactive. So she was reacting to something. She put hands on him. Number one, you're such a good fighter. You should have been able to handle it. Grab her hands, just hold her hands. But women are reactive. So one of the things that men need to learn, that men can take from this, is we got to hold each other accountable and not stop congratulating BS. Another thing men need to learn is you make the bed, you got to lay in it. You make the bed, you have to lay in it. You can't just keep knocking up girls and be like, okay, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do that. And just skate at your discretion. You have to hunker down and own what you did. You have to man up and own what you did. If you knocked this girl up, if you gave her a child, you have to man up and own what you did. You can't, just put her in a house and that's it. And then as soon as an argument breaks out, oh, she's a side piece. She's a side chick. Because like she said on the video, you was trying to make another baby last night. So what you talking about? I'm the side piece. You have to own what you did. Men, we have to own what we do. Another thing men need to learn from this, that I think men can learn from this, is some stuff you just, how can I say this? As a husband who's had to watch his wife give birth to their son, to the son she gave to him, she had for him. You have to understand as a man that you have to know that you have to treat her like a delicate flower. A lot of dudes have babies and go back to the streets. Have babies, drop off diapers, drop off milk, and get back to the streets. Nah, bro, that woman needs you. That woman needs you. She needs you not just to be in the house or just be dropping off stuff. She needs her feet rubbed. She needs a stomach rub. She needs to be caressed. She needs to be held. Because like I said, there have been some women who've thought about committing suicide. There have been some women who have committed suicide, who have killed their children, have harmed their children in this state. And I think as a husband, it's part of a man's job to be able that after your wife has given birth to your child, or after your girl has given birth to your child, to be that person who provides the most calming environment possible. And for me, on outside looking in, that's on him to provide that. Because she can only do so much as a woman who's just given birth. So he has to provide that calm, that situation where she can feel, because again, she's already got all of these thoughts going through her head, and it's up to a man to even that out. She's already talking to herself and got herself going through stuff that ain't even really happening. It's up to that man to come along or to be there and to even that stuff out. And on this situation, on outside looking in, it doesn't look like that was being done by him. And even now, you heard him talking. You heard him talking about, I'm gonna take care of my baby. I'm gonna take care of my baby. But again, and this is how you know when you're dealing with a husband, ladies. The primary care in that situation is not for the baby. It's for her. It's for the woman who has just had the baby. That's who needs the most care. Yeah, the baby needs the care, but the mother's gonna do that naturally. Gonna breastfeed, gonna let that baby out of her sight. But she's just as that baby is frail in her 2-3 month old state. That woman is frail in that state of that young state of motherhood, and that man needs to be able to be there for her. And so I think that these kind of situations, I think nobody wins. I don't think she wins. I don't think he wins. I hope you don't think he made himself look good, because he made himself look like a. Now, and I'll say this, it's going to be other girls going in. They break up. They might get back together tomorrow. She might be back in the house tomorrow. Who knows? He might be on the prowl again, because you know how dudes are. But nobody wins in this situation. But it's a lot of simps out there, so she'll be picked up, you know, by dudes. Hopefully it's not, you know, that kind of person. Hopefully she finds herself, if they're not together anymore, she finds herself a person who is not just somebody who just wants a yellow bone on his own to help him look good, but somebody who can be a husband. And then I hope you flip that coin over. I hope this dude, you know, just starts to settle down, man. Settle down, bro. You're getting a little too old for this kind of stuff. You know, as a guy who in his 40s, I watch some of our rap heroes, you know, wild out, and those that live to get a little older, they settle down. And I think right now, man, you've been on the scene a little bit. It's time for this dude to settle down, man. Stop making videos blasting baby mamas and all this kind of stuff. Stop getting up on stage saying crazy stuff. Settle down, bro. Settle down. But, and this is another video for another day, who knows what's going on behind the scenes with this dude that got him that fortune and fame that makes him wild out. You know, we've heard enough stories of what grown men have to do to get this kind of fortune and fame. So there's no telling what this man has had to do or had to have done to him to get this kind of fortune and fame that makes him such a jerk. But that's another story for another day now, isn't it? So I don't know, man. I just hope that women and men learn their lesson from this. Just watch who you kick it with. Women, don't try to, if he'd been a dog 2-3 women ago, don't try to change him. The only person that can change him is the Lord. But I just hope, I hope this situation gets rectified. And I'm not going to say just for the child. People are like, I hope they can work it out for the child. No, they need to work it out for themselves, because they're human beings too. Sometimes people say that, there's a child involved. I hope they work it out for the child. Okay, the child, yes, but they need to, she could be, this is a very delicate, she could either go to being a productive young lady or being just tragic right now. So she could be like, you know, I tried, and just dive off a cliff. Not physically, but just in her lifestyle. She could just get mad, just not care about dudes or nothing, and just go completely left. Or she could learn from this, and she could become a mature woman and pick up the pieces of her life and move on. So I think those are some of the things we learned from that. Again, I'm not going to dog either one of them, but I will say what that dude did is trash. As a man, you can't, even if you feel certain ways, you can't go on social media and air. You can't do that, man. That's just not a good look. And as a man, I'm calling you out on that. That's a mess. That's a mess. And I think as men, we need to call each other out on that kind of stuff and not just shrugging our shoulders and going. Just like I think women need to call each other out when they're women who are home-wrecking women. Like too many women are friends with women who wreck homes. And y'all go to lunch and brunch together and listen to her talk about how she would have married a man, and y'all need to air her out. I said that before. Women need to air women out for that. And I think men need to air men out for being dog dudes. I really do. Because nobody else will hold us accountable but each other. That's all I got, man. Don't forget to click like, subscribe. Up to 200 followers now, subscribers now. I want to thank y'all. It's been a slow tread. Been trying to be more consistent, talking to you guys. Y'all talk back to me. I appreciate it. It's your boy Al. I'll holler at you later. Peace.